This is my mom, and since quarantine, she's been getting creative. Because I'm a photographer and my sister is 8 months pregnant, she asked if we could do a maternity photo shoot, but with fruits and vegetables. What? I know, crazy, here's the story. It all started with my dad eating corn, and mom noticing that corn looked like skyscrapers. So I came up with a master plan, got my sister and her husband to copy some poses from Instagram, and got to work. I selected the best poses so that we could print, cut, and attach their tiny little silhouettes to a little piece of wire, while mom focused on world building. Once our little city was set up, all we had to do was create a sunset using a little orange pouch and a phone light.
A little higher.
Done! Unfortunately for me, mom is now excited, and she's discovered that pomegranates look really interesting from the inside, and my sister wants more photos too. Little confession. Before this little project, I had never spent much time staring at the inside of pomegranates. Turns out they have a really cool texture that looked either like the moon or the bottom of the sea. Unfortunately, we didn't have any spacesuits at home, and since nothing else we tried worked, we were left with masks and flippers instead. A couple minutes later, we were back downstairs, taking photos of what I hoped would look like a romantic underwater encounter.
Arch your back, point your toes, look like you're swimming, there we go.
We then grabbed a couple bottles of wine and covered them in pomegranate peels. Mom found a flower vase almost as tall as her, which we filled with water, and then added the silhouettes of my very pregnant sister and her husband. We then wrapped a flashlight into the blanket to create a nice diagonal beam of light, and voila, 10,000 pomegranates under the sea. I showed the shot to my sister, who really seemed to like it, but I was gonna need some more inspiration before moving forward. I went to go talk to my mom about it, and of course, she was already experimenting with dad. Like for part 3. One of my sister's favorite activities is paddleboarding, but thanks to the lockdowns, we haven't been allowed to go anywhere. So we teamed up to take her on a different kind of family adventure. We started off with a recycled takeout container covered in aluminum foil, filled with just a little hint of water, and then cut out slices of dragon fruit and mango to make a pair of paddleboards. I attached little cutouts of their silhouettes by using tape and staples, while mom connected vegetables with toothpicks to create a forest. We then collected little hairs from used corn husks to decorate the water, before adding a final touch of smoke by using incense and a small bamboo tube, along with a couple phone flashlights and colorful bags. By this point, our little collection of miniature worlds was growing, and mom started to see opportunities everywhere. While out for her daily walk, she found pieces of bark lying around, which kickstarted her next idea. For our family photo shoot, I wanted to do something a little special, but I struggled to explain what it was. Drawing is not my strong suit, but everyone went along with it anyways. The idea was to have the entire family rappelling down a cliff made from bark that my mom found during her walk. We placed our wood chips onto slices of potatoes, balancing them up against our little collection of wine bottles. We lit up some incense to add a magical atmosphere, but something was still missing. We needed fly swatters. Not to swat flies, but to create a splash of yellow and magenta for our photo. Ta-da! Our very own Corona Mountain. Thinking we were done, I printed out the shots and gave them to my sister, but
One more?
figuring out how to position my pregnant sister in skis mid-air took a little bit of experimenting. The ladder we tried to use was too short, so we swapped it out for scaffolding, which worked a lot better. The height gave us some limitations, but within a few minutes we were done and off to the races to pick the right vegetable or fruit for the job. Bananas won that race, and with a little help from some potatoes to keep them upright, we were ready to add a little mountain of baking flour to create the snow of our ski slope. We carefully groomed the flour into place, and all that was left to do was to add a little splash of light into the background. I shifted the camera's white balance to blue, and voila, a magical night skiing experience in the Northern Lights. And with that, we were finally done with our mini adventure photo shoot in quarantine.
Thanks for watching! Stay safe!
Our next project, welcoming the newest member of the family.